Mic check, George. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're tracking how the coronavirus continues to affect North Carolina. Check 1, 2. Just plug this back in for good measure. Check 1, 2. We're tracking how the coronavirus. Okay, thank you.
Good morning. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4. Check, check, check. Got another cup of coffee. Probably because it was on the floor. Can you hear me now? Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4. Check, check, check.
Whoa. Whoop.
Yeah, I can do it real
Mic check
quick.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Check, check, check. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
Sorry, Ty. I'm like in the same
All right, this is for
script as
Christy.
you, I
3,
think.
2.
I'll
Okay.
get out. Ah! It won't
3,
let me
2.
do that.
Could a routine vaccine be fighting COVID-19? You ask, we verify the pneumococcal shot tomorrow on the Good Morning Show. Let me try that one more time.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4,
3,
5.
2.
Good morning, everybody.
Could a
1, 2, 3,
routine
4, 5.
vaccine, I'm sorry, they're in my ear. 3, 2. Could a routine vaccine be fighting COVID-19? You ask, we verify the pneumococcal shot tomorrow on the Good Morning Show.
Hi, I'm sorry. So confused
Thanks,
about what
Christy.
we're doing right now. We are getting ready for After GMS, which should be starting any moment now. There's a lot going on. So we'll just set this aside. Just for reference, are all of our mics hot right now?
Mine is smoking.
That's a good warning to know.
But it's okay. I'm back now. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reading my barbecue book. I might make brisket this weekend as long as there aren't any tornadoes on Saturday. Hey man, whew, it's my stuff, man. I love brisket, but this is my first time trying to make it though. I'll see what I can do, man.
welcome to After GMS 7:51, a little later than normal. Thanks for sticking with us. We had some technology issues to work out. You might have heard our mic checks, as random as they are, but sometimes they're fun. We all have our different way of doing mic checks, and I think Taran's is the funniest. He's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's just random melody here.
Or he talks about brisket.
He does talk about brisket.
I'm getting hungry.
Oh, goodness. All right, so we have a lot to get to here on After GMS. A lot of you sticking around to hear our social conversation about when should North Carolina reopen. Already about 50 people weighing in online right now. If you're on our stream watching, please weigh in. Let us know your thoughts. Before that, we'll get to our forecast for today. Plenty of sunshine, Taran.
Oh yeah, lots of sunshine across the area today. The weather is not going to be a problem at all through the day today. We'll see high temperatures ending up in the upper 60s to low 70s. The wind not nearly as strong as it was yesterday, so that is some good news. But things change pretty quickly as we head through the night. Tonight, the clouds will move in, rain will move in as well. Looks like the rain's going to hold off until a little bit closer to sunrise for most of us. Although if you're in the foothills, we can see rain as early as 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning up that way. The rain pushes across the entire area through the day. On Thursday, we could see a couple of rounds of rain. One in the morning with just regular rain mainly, and then through the afternoon, we could see some thunderstorm activity develop. Right now, it looks like the best chance of that happening will be to our south, but that could change. So we're going to watch that carefully for you. We'll watch for the threat of maybe a couple of severe storms if that system moves a little bit more to the north. Then it clears out of here for Friday. Then we're going to keep a close eye on Saturday. Looking at some of the latest data, it doesn't look like the rain's going to be widespread on Saturday, but we could see thunderstorms fire up as we head through the day Saturday, especially from the triad eastward. But again, that could certainly change over the next 4 days. So you need to stay weather aware for Saturday. Then we clear out for Sunday. And then we are pretty quiet weather-wise as we head through early next week. Let's quick look at your 7-day forecast.
Time now to get a look at our headlines. Of course, we start with the latest on coronavirus here in North Carolina. Tracking the number of cases as testing increases, so does the case count. Right now, the count is nearly 7,000 in North Carolina of confirmed positive COVID-19 cases. The state health department says the virus has killed more than 200 people, and there are more than 400 people battling coronavirus in hospitals across the state. We'll get new numbers today before noon and pass them on to you. The U.S. Senate has approved more relief money for small businesses. The Paycheck Protection Program is getting billions of dollars. The PPP ran out of money last week, so lawmakers reached a deal to replenish the funds yesterday. The Senate approved the $500 billion funding bill. $300 billion will go to small businesses. The rest will go to hospitals and testing programs. The House still needs to vote on this, though, and that could happen soon, possibly sending the bill to the president to sign into law. There could be even more help on the way to North Carolina businesses. North Carolina's state legislature is back in session next week. Lawmakers will continue discussing the state budget, and they'll look to include about $75 million in worker relief, plus money for schools, local governments, and more COVID-19 testing.
Well, there are growing calls to get back to business across North Carolina. Yesterday, hundreds of protesters rallied in Raleigh demanding our state reopen. The governor allowed the rally to go on as long as they stayed 6 feet apart, but as you can see, a lot of people weren't social distancing. The group wants the governor to loosen the stay-at-home order rules and allow businesses to reopen. Organizers say they will continue protesting until those stay-at-home orders are lifted. It's set to expire a week from today. The opposing group, Stay Home North Carolina, says it would have been in Raleigh to counter-protest Tuesday, but that would have contradicted the group's message of following the orders, not gathering, and staying at home. The organization is in the process of organizing a virtual sit-in as a way of counter-protesting. Well, since grocery shopping is considered essential right now, the COVID-19 pandemic, you might have questions about how to shop safely. WFMY's Candace Red breaks down the guidelines from the CDC.
We're at Harris Teeter on Battleground Avenue in Greensboro, and just like so many other stores nationwide, the grocer is taking the necessary steps to protect both workers and shoppers. That includes cleaning common areas often, adding extra hand sanitizer at cashier stations, and offering senior shopping hours. Now, even though some grocery stores may be out of certain products, there are no nationwide shortages of food. In fact, the FDA says that there's also no evidence that the coronavirus is spreading through food or on food packaging. Taking a look at your screen, the FDA is still offering the following safety guidelines. Prepare a shopping list in advance. Buy 1 to 2 weeks worth of groceries at a time. Wear a face mask. Wipe the shopping cart handles. Practice social distancing. And as always, wash your hands with warm water and soap for at least 20 seconds as soon as you get home. And once you get home, the FDA says to make sure that you store your groceries properly. That way, you can prevent foodborne illnesses. And for more information on this, all you have to do is visit our website, WFMYnews2.com.
All right, that's a great intro into our first conversation of the morning about shopping, Stacey. So take it away.
Well, guys, we're still allowed to go into grocery stores to get things that we need for our families, but a lot of people are bringing up the point as if we should even be allowed to shop inside the store. Do you think we should be allowed to shop inside the store, or do you think that we should not be? Maybe it should all be pickup. So weigh in now on our Facebook comments and let us know what you think. So they also say that doing so puts the workers at risk. Union leaders and small grocery store owners believe it's too dangerous to let customers browse the aisles and the stores continue to be flooded with shoppers. Instead, they want to convert to curbside pickup and home delivery. The United Food and Commercial Workers Union says careless customers are the biggest threat, and 85% of grocery store member workers reported that customers are not following social distancing guidelines. I think that they bring up a really good point, and it's definitely a big talker for a lot of people, because I've seen so many comments about people saying, yeah, the grocery stores are open, but people are still walking down those very thin aisles right next to one another, picking up all the items, touching items, putting them back. So I think it's a good conversation to have. I don't know if I necessarily believe that they need to be closed, but I really do think that all of them need to follow those social distancing guidelines, and the workers need to be well taken care of.
Yeah, because we know workers right now are being diagnosed at a rapid rate. They are an essential business, and they are open right now, and they are exposed to coronavirus. So we need to protect our workers as well as, you know, those who are shopping. All right, Megan, you're in our top box here, so why don't you weigh in first?
Yeah, well, obviously it's not realistic to close the grocery stores. If you were to do that, you would have these delivery services overwhelmed, food banks overwhelmed. You'd also have this huge resurgence of panic buying, not being able to find any items that you need. So obviously the grocery stores and essential businesses need to stay open, but it's a matter of looking at the practices in place now. Are they enough? How can we further distance shoppers if that's what it takes to keep the employees and customers safe? Do we have more regulation on the front end, at the front door, continuing to limit and further limit how many people can be in there at one time, people patrolling the aisles? I'm not sure. Maybe more needs to be done on that end, because obviously closing the stores is not likely.
All right, Taran, what do you think?
Well, you know, if everyone did what my grandma says or used to say, you know, act like they had good sense, we would be in a better situation. Because when you do go into the grocery store, you do see that people are not following the social distancing guidelines. I don't know what it is about human beings, but for whatever reason, we just tend to want to just kind of gather together, like spread out and make sure that you're paying attention when you're shopping. You know, if you need to wait an extra minute or two before you can reach over and get the ketchup, then just wait further down the aisle until the person in front of you finishes. You know, try to do the pickup. I know my wife and I, we've been doing the pickup service more, where we just order ahead of time and then just kind of come in and pick it up. But even then, we try to make sure we have a mask on, so that when the person that works at the grocery store is bringing our groceries out, we are doing our part to try to make sure we're protecting them as well. So just act like you have some sense and we will be okay. But if people can't get it together, then they might have to think about maybe limiting the hours more, or doing something to, you know, slow the spread and keep people more spread out.
All right, yeah, that's a great point. Ed Matthews, you were kind of smiling the whole time. I think you have some experience at the store.
I just love to listen to Rand's responses. And you know, Grandma, he's right. Grandma knows best. You know, it's all about common sense. For somebody who is headed to the supermarket in about 2 hours from now, because you know the sales circular comes out and the sales start today, got to get the bargains. But you know, really, I'm going to go, I'm going to have my mask on. I don't go anywhere without my mask on now. I think practice social distancing. I still think they should limit the number of people that go into the store at any given time. I don't know if there are any local supermarkets that are doing that. They have the markers in the checkout lanes, 6 feet apart and all that. I agree, you can't close the supermarkets. I have not had any food delivered. I'm one of these people, I'd rather pick out my own fruits and vegetables rather than to have somebody else to do it. And you could ditto that for meats as well. But a lot of this, you got to be conscious of this when you're in the store. If you see somebody getting up in your face, you got to back off and just use common sense. Keep the stores open. Got to have food.
Yeah, food, again, is essential right now. Let's get to some of our Facebook commenters. They are weighing in right now. Lisa says, I do not, sorry guys, this is our Facebook live stream, not those prods, so I want to make sure we get off of that. That's for the next conversation. We'll come back here live in the studio. I'm reading some comments that people are interacting on Facebook right now. So Lisa says, I do not agree with pickup only for stores. Our stores have made huge efforts to keep shoppers and employees safer. Leah says, went to the store yesterday and people cannot even follow simple rules like the one-way aisles. See, Taran? She agrees with you. Melissa says, I don't want anyone touching my food that I don't know. All right, well, there are definitely different opinions out there on our Facebook live stream, and certainly the big conversation right now is about lifting this stay-at-home order, which is set to expire this time next week. Well, there's a huge debate right now over the health of Americans versus the health of the economy. So I asked on Facebook if you had to put a date on reopening the state, when would you do it? Would it be early May, mid-May, early June, or as long as it takes? Now we'll throw up those comments here from our Facebook page. It says, Wendy says, as long as it takes, safety first. You can replace things, but not lives. Karen says, June 1st or later. We need to continue collecting data and doing research. Ed says, listen to the scientific community. That's Ed Welburn. And Daniel says, right now. So there are different debates out there to stay at home or to lift. So Ed, we ended with you the last one. We'll start with you this time.
Well, you know I've always got a comment. I think any reopening should be very, very gradual. Everybody's getting antsy, okay? Have you had enough of this stay-at-home business? I know I have. So I understand people are getting impatient, but every day on the news, we give you increased death numbers, we give you increased numbers of new cases. This ain't even close to being over with. And as far as getting back to normal, I'm not even sure that's going to happen this year. I hope so, but I think any reopening should be gradual in nature as we go through time.
Great comments, Ed. All right, Stacey, what do you think?
I think obviously it's not ideal what we're going through right now. It's not fun. No one likes to be stuck at home, at least, well, everyone but Taran. But for the most part, we don't like to be at home during this time. And I took a phone call in the newsroom yesterday about from this guy that he lost his job. He's still trying to get unemployment. He's so worried about his family, and I understand that people want to get back to work. They want to make money for their families, to have food on the table. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of anxiety and fear out there. But at the same time, I still believe that we need to stay at home as long as it takes. And I hate saying that, knowing that a lot of people are struggling and hurting right now, but I just want to prevent people from losing their lives. And I think that that's the only way that we can do that, because like Ed mentioned, those numbers are still going up, and not just here in North Carolina, but across the country. I know we are seeing some places start to taper off a little bit, but still people are dying every day. And that's really scary to think about. And if that means we are staying home longer to save lives, I'm all about it.
All right, Taran, please weigh in on this one.
You know, as I kind of sit and have been thinking about this over the past few weeks, you know, there are a couple of different ways that people are looking at this. Obviously, if you are still employed, you can kind of approach this from a place of privilege, where the only issue that you're having is you can't hang out with your friends, which at the end of the day is not a big deal. Okay. At least it's not as big of a deal as people who have lost their jobs and are trying to figure out how to feed their family. If you are in that situation, I certainly can see why you really want to open things up as soon as possible so you can work, and you're willing to take that risk of getting sick or worse. And so I understand both sides of it. As a community, in my opinion, we need to do a couple of things. Number one, we need to support the people who have lost their jobs and who are in dire straits right now. We're talking about life or death dire straits from not being able to eat in some cases, okay? And also, by doing that, that will buy us some more time to maybe stay socially distant and keep things closed a little bit longer, to not only flatten the curve, but start getting that decrease, and also buy some more time to continue to work towards developing a vaccine. So it's kind of a two-faced approach. I think if we do open things up, hopefully sooner rather than later, if the data takes us that way, it would likely be in a gradual sense, I think would be the way to go, kind of like what Ed was saying. So I know this is, you know, there are a couple different ways to think about it, and this is a lot more complex than just, hey, we need to open this now, or we need to keep things closed.
Yeah, I can see that. There's a lot of area in the middle between yes and no. All right, Meg, you're going to close us out here with your comments. I know they'll be profound. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm just reading some of these comments here, and it really hits home both sides of these arguments. I just read a comment from one woman, Hannah. She said she's more concerned about supporting her family right now than she is about the coronavirus. So, you know, I think we're at a point at which a lot of these smaller businesses and a lot of people who are self-employed and considered non-essential are either going to sink or swim. A lot of these businesses are not going to be able to recover from this and might have to permanently close if we don't open, at least gradually start to open some of them soon. That said, there seems to be a general consensus among health professionals that we need to start seeing a proven decline in case numbers and hospital intakes before it is safe to start doing that. And again, it does need to be gradual. But do you start lifting restrictions on some of these non-essential businesses and allow them to follow the same guidelines as the essential businesses and try that for a bit and see? Or is it too early? I'm going to let the experts make that call.
Yeah, we have some other comments on our Facebook page right now. Christiane says, I'm amazed that people are living in fear. We need to get this state open now. Harley says, don't let being stuck in the house make you stir crazy. John adds in, going to be a lot of folks homeless by then. When you talk about health, that isn't just your body. You also need to factor in your mental health as well. And one more comment here from Lisa. She said, follow the criteria laid out by the federal government. North Carolina hasn't reached the criteria for beginning phase 1 yet. And neither have our states to the south, Georgia and Texas being two of them that come to mind right now that are expecting to ease restrictions starting this Friday. And it makes you wonder, well, if they ease restrictions there and then they start traveling to North Carolina, are they then bringing more cases here? Are we going to see another surge? So there's certainly so many different ways to think about this pandemic, which we are still not quite done with yet. All right, thanks for weighing in. We'll keep you updated. The governor has a big decision, and there's going to be half of the people who are super excited and half the people who are super mad. So we will keep you updated on that. Right now, Ed Matthews, we need an updated look at the forecast.
I'll tell you what, it's great hanging out here in the weather garden. Nothing but Carolina blue sky and bright sunshine. Going to drive those temperatures into the upper 60s and lower 70s today. Now, clouds will start to build during the evening, and after midnight on about 2, 3, 4 a.m., I think we're going to see some rain elements work into the Piedmont. Temperatures tonight will drop to near 50. Now, tomorrow looks like a fairly wet day for the Piedmont. We'll see some morning showers, and then as we head through the afternoon and into the evening hours, we'll be on the lookout for maybe a few strong storms. The better chance of severe weather is actually to our south, on through South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, and northern Florida. We'll keep an eye on that. Any deviation in the track of this system moving in heads a little bit farther north, that would give us a greater risk for any severe weather later tomorrow. So we'll keep an eye on things, but all that precipitation will be out, and Friday looks good. Temperatures into the 60s. And then as we head into Saturday, another system heads our way, and that'll bring some showers and storms. Right now, Sunday through Tuesday, looking very nice and dry across the Piedmont.
All right, here's something to keep you smiling as you start your day. I think Sam wants us to take coronavirus off our minds altogether. He writes, the question is popcorn or pizza? So,
Pizza.
Pizza.
there you go. Right. Thank you, Sam, giving us a reason to smile. We can also, have some lighter moments as we deal with the current situation. Appreciate you for that. All right, it is 8:11, time for you to get your day started. We'll see you back here later. Take care.